The story you're about to hear is a compilation of documented true facts about historical characters, events, or locations. Please sit back and listen as I narrate this story to you. Thalidomide is a drug that was developed by the West German pharmaceutical company Chemie Grünenthal in the 1950s. It was marketed in the United Kingdom under the brand name Distaval. It has also been known as Asmaval, Distaval Forte, Tensival, Valgese, and Valgrain. Thalidomide was marketed as a wonder drug for treating a variety of conditions such as headaches, insomnia, and depression. It was popular because it was non-toxic, making it impossible to overdose on. Long-term use, on the other hand, resulted in irreversible peripheral neuritis in a large number of patients. It was then remarketed as a short-term treatment for pregnant women, typically during the first 3 months of their pregnancy, to alleviate morning sickness or insomnia, though it was also prescribed for bronchitis and influenza, among other things. It was also found in cough medicines for children, and it was frequently found in medicine cabinets long after it was removed from the market. Hermann Wirtz Sr., a Nazi Party member, founded the company after World War II as a subsidiary of the family's Maurer and Wirtz firm. The company's initial goal was to develop antibiotics that were in high demand in the market. Because of his experience researching and producing an anti-typhus vaccine for Nazi Germany, Wirtz appointed chemist Heinrich Muchter, a known Nazi war criminal, to head the development program. As head of pathology, he hired Martin Stammler, a medical doctor and leading proponent of the Nazi eugenics program, as well as Heinz Baumkutter, the chief medical officer at the Sachsenhausen concentration camp, and Otto Ambros, Hitler's chemical warfare advisor. During the development of thalidomide, Ambros served as chairman of Grünenthal's advisory committee, and he was a board member when Contergan was sold. During early testing, the company's researchers discovered that it was nearly impossible to administer a lethal dose of the drug to test animals based on the LD50 test. Largely based on this, the drug was deemed to be harmless to humans. Thalidomide was approved for over-the-counter sale, which means no doctor's prescription is required in Germany in July 1956. More and more pharmaceutical companies began to produce and market the drug under license from Chemie Grünenthal around the world. By the mid-1950s, 14 pharmaceutical companies were marketing thalidomide under at least 37 different trade names in 46 countries. In 1958, thalidomide was produced in the United Kingdom by the Distillers Company Limited under the brand names Distaval, Tensival, Valgrain, and Asmaval. Their advertisement claimed that Distaval can be given with complete safety to pregnant women and nursing mothers without adverse effect on mother or child. The medication was prescribed for a variety of conditions, including pneumonia, colds, and flu, as well as to alleviate the symptom of nausea that is common in early pregnancy. The United States was one country that did not approve thalidomide for marketing and distribution, as it was rejected by the Food and Drug Administration. Francis Oldham Kelsey, a pharmacologist, declined several requests from the distributing company that did not provide clinical evidence to refute reports of patients who developed nerve damage in their limbs after long-term thalidomide use. As a result of the limited clinical trials that were conducted, only about 20 thalidomide-impaired babies were born in America. Because scientists did not know that a drug's effects could be passed through the placental barrier and harm a fetus in the wombs in the 1950s, the use of medications during pregnancy was not strictly regulated. In the case of thalidomide, no tests involving pregnant women were conducted. Because the drug was sold under so many different names in 49 countries, it took 5 years to establish a link between thalidomide taken by pregnant women and the effects on their children. The UK government did not issue a warning until May 1962. The wide range of changes in fetal development was one reason why researchers and doctors were slow to make this connection. The main side effects of thalidomide are limb impairments that are usually bilateral, either both arms, both legs, or all 4 limbs. The most severe impairment is phocomelia, a condition in which the long bones of some or all limbs are misshapen, and the hands and feet, which can be mostly fully formed, malformed, or rudimentary, emerge almost on the trunk. Other impairments encompass a wide range of limb disabilities, ranging from significant limb shortening or complete limblessness to less physically disabling conditions such as fused fingers. Thalidomide also had an effect on the eyes and ears, as well as the cardiovascular system, gastrointestinal tract, and kidneys. Only when taken during the first 3 months of pregnancy did the drug harm the developing fetus. According to research, the precise timing of thalidomide administration affected the severity and type of malformations that resulted. Thalidomide was found to cause central brain damage on the 20th day of pregnancy, damage to the eyes on the 21st, ears and face on the 22nd, arms and legs on the 24th, and leg damage on the 28th. When taken after 42 days of gestation, thalidomide had no negative effects on the fetus. Another reason why the link to thalidomide took so long to be established was that some of the damage caused by the drug was very similar to certain genetic conditions that affect the upper or lower limbs. Genetic conditions such as TAR syndrome and Holt-Oram syndrome, for example, both affect the upper limbs in a manner similar to thalidomide. Poland syndrome affects the hands, and Talipes equinovirus affects the foot and ankles. Congenital dysmelia can also affect all the limbs and can present as very similar to thalidomide impairments. The link between thalidomide and its impact on development was first made public in a letter published in The Lancet in 1961 by an Australian doctor named William McBride. Shemigranithal formally withdrew the drug on November 26, 1961, and the UK distributors followed suit a few days later on December 2, 1961. However, it survived in many medicine cabinets under various names. There is no definitive figure for how many babies were harmed by thalidomide because many were miscarried, stillborn, or died shortly after birth. It was recently estimated that over 24,000 babies were born worldwide, with 2,000 being born in the United Kingdom. Furthermore, based on medical evidence, experts conservatively estimate that those babies stillborn and miscarried as a result of thalidomide would add a further 123,000 worldwide, with 10,000 in the UK. These figures do not include babies born alive but who died as a result of state infanticide and were thus never registered. The thalidomide babies who survived had defects in their limbs, eyes, urinary tract, and hearts. Around half of the approximately 2,000 babies born with defects in the UK died within a few months, with 466 surviving until at least 2010. The Thalidomide Society was founded in 1962 by parents of children who had been affected by the thalidomide drug. The original aim of the society was to provide mutual support and a social network as well as to seek compensation. Shemigranithal was tried in Germany in 1968. The case was settled out of court and compensation was made for German victims. No one was convicted of any crimes. In the same year, the distillers company, the British licensee, reached a settlement with the drug's victims in the United Kingdom. In 1972, a well-publicized campaign led by the Sunday Times newspaper helped secure a new settlement for thalidomide-affected children in the United Kingdom. In December 2009, the UK government awarded survivors a £20 million grant to be distributed through the Thalidomide Trust. Throughout the 1970s and possibly into the 1980s, thalidomide was widely available in Spain. This was due to two factors. First, state controls and safeguards were inadequate. In fact, it wasn't until 2008 that the government admitted that thalidomide had been imported into the country. Second, Grünenthal did not insist that its sister company in Madrid won Spanish doctors and instead allowed it to do so. According to the Spanish advocacy group for thalidomide victims, there were 250 to 300 living thalidomide victims in Spain in 2015. Thalidomide compelled governments and medical authorities to rethink their drug licensing policies. As a result, both in the UK and around the world, changes were made to the way drugs were marketed, tested, and approved. One significant change was that drugs for human use could no longer be approved solely on the basis of animal testing. Furthermore, drug trials for substances marketed to pregnant women had to show that they were safe for use during pregnancy. Many countries improved their classification and control of medicines as a result of easy, over-the-counter access to thalidomide. In the United Kingdom, the 1968 Medicines Act, enacted in response to the thalidomide scandal, established distinctions between prescription drugs, drugs available only in the pharmacy, and drugs available for general sale. The Yellow Card scheme was established to encourage doctors to share previously unknown side effects of medications they prescribe. The scheme has been expanded so that anyone can now report a side effect. In the United Kingdom, thalidomide is only prescribed by a doctor under strict guidelines. Women taking thalidomide must use 2 types of birth control and undergo regular pregnancy tests. When taking thalidomide, men must use contraception. People who are prescribed thalidomide are counseled and informed about the risks. The vast majority of people affected by thalidomide have gone on to live happy lives with families and careers. However, the wear and tear on their bodies as they age has become more noticeable. The Thalidomide Trust recently conducted a health and well-being survey with all of their beneficiaries, and the results show that 2/3 rate their physical health as equal to or worse than the bottom 2% of the general population. The most common health issues reported are pain, which can be severe and/or continuous, according to 90% of the beneficiaries, reduced flexibility and mobility, which makes it difficult to perform daily tasks, tingling and numbness, and poor mental and emotional health, which includes anxiety and depression. The cost of specially tailored clothing, prosthetic limbs, wheelchairs, and hearing implants has been noted as difficult to cover financially, especially since more than 40% find they are no longer able to work due to their disability. This, however, was not the end of the thalidomide saga. When other tranquilizers and painkillers failed to help a leprosy patient at Jerusalem's Hadassah University Hospital in 1964, he was given thalidomide. Jacob Sheshkin, his doctor, noticed the drug had an effect on the patient's leprosy symptoms. The leprosy was gone in 3 days, and the skin lesions healed. The leprosy returned after the patient stopped taking the thalidomide. Although it was not a cure, the drug appeared to be able to suppress the disease. As a result, in 1967, the World Health Organization conducted a clinical trial on the use of thalidomide for leprosy. Following more encouraging results, thalidomide was approved for use as a leprosy treatment in a number of countries. It has recently been used successfully to treat some AIDS-related conditions, as well as a targeted cancer drug for treating cancers such as multiple myeloma. However, because of its history, the reintroduction of thalidomide remains controversial. Hey everyone! I just wanted to express how grateful I am that you took time out of your day to listen to my narration. This is Nikki of Twysted Mind, and I'd like to wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Salamat!